crazy what I'm about to say. Sunshine, she's here, you can take a break. I'm a hot air balloon that could go to space. With the air, like I don't care, baby, by the way. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you feel like a room without a roof. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you feel like happiness is the truth. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you know what happiness is to you. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you feel like that's what you want to do.
Okay, we're on lesson 5.3. This is an easy one. We are estimating quotients, or the answer to a division problem. Estimation is something we do every day, and we don't always have the time to work out a problem. So estimation skills come in handy. So I've got some places for some steps. Let's write these down real quick. Step number 1 is to estimate. And we do that by rounding each number to compatible numbers, and we'll talk about that. And then finally, we find the quotient. Okay? So I've got a problem for us right here. And you'll notice I have a couple of words here. I have estimate high, and then I have estimate low. When we round numbers, when we estimate, we can estimate high, we can estimate low. It doesn't matter, it depends on what we're doing. So on this one, what we're looking for is compatible numbers. And when I say compatible numbers, I mean numbers that work well with our divisor. So if you look at this, we have the number 3. And if I think back to my times tables, and I count by 3s, I know that, let's see, 8 times 3 is 24, and 9 times 3 is 27, and 10 times 3 is 30. And this number, 287, or 28.7, the 28 is pretty close to 30. And so I know if I rounded this number to 30 and then divided that by 3, that would be pretty easy for me. 30 divided by 3 we know is 10. So that's not too bad. And so what I'm using a number that works well with 3. That's what makes estimating easy. That's the way we can do it in our head. And so that time I went up. I estimated high because it was a number higher than 28. But what if I wanted to go low? So I think that 3 times 10 is 30. So if I wanted to go low, I'd probably do the number 9. And because I know that 9 times 3 is 27. So what I would do is I would bump 28.7 down to 27. And 27 divided by 3 is that 9. And so there you can see I rounded high. I went higher than 28. And what I did is I just picked the number that works with 3. And 30 is the one that works. And when I went low, I went with a number that worked well with 3. And lower than 28, and 27 works well with 3. Because 9 times 3 is 27. And that's it. That's all you have to do. So let's try another one. And let's remember our steps. Let's see if we can remember them. Number 1 is estimate. And number 2 is round each number to compatible. Remember that word compatible, it's just a number that works well with what we have. And then we want to find the quotient. Okay? So if you notice, I use similar numbers here, but they're just bigger numbers. This time I have 287.2 divided by 32. And I can still do this. And if I look at this, I think, okay, I have 32 here, and I have 287, and 32, I don't really know my 32 times tables, but just looking at the previous problem, I know my threes. And so on this type of problem, I could round both numbers. It doesn't matter. And so what if I dropped that 32 to a 30? That makes that easier to work with. And then if I wanted to go high, 287 is pretty close to 300. And that's a compatible number. So I could make that 300 and say 300 divided by 30 is 10. So right there I went high, and I went from 287 to 300, and then I dropped this one down to make it easier to work with. And so 287.2 divided by 32 is going to be pretty close to 10. And then I can estimate low as well. There's nothing that says that we have to estimate high or low. It just depends on what we're working with. And so if I come down here and I do the same thing, I could make that 30 again, because that's way easier to work with. And I went to 300, I went high, and I could go low, and I could go to 270. Remember, I'm looking for a compatible number, and then I'm looking for a number that works well with this 3 right here. And 287 is pretty close to 270, so I could feel good about dropping it that low. So same thing, 270 divided by 30, and the answer is 9. And so if I actually did this problem, 287.2 divide by 32, let's do this real quick. The answer is 8.96. And so if I look at my estimation, I was pretty close. The lower one, the 9, was actually really close. The 10's still close. I mean, we're at basically 9 here, so we're not too far off. So as you can see that, estimating, does help. It does work. If we wanted just to look at this one real quick and try this one, the answer to this one up here was 9.56. And our estimation was 10 and 9. This one could go either way. I like rounding up, and so this, is pretty close. The 9 is also close. And so you can see that when we estimate, we should get numbers that are close to our quotient. When you estimate, you get to pick. Do you want to go high or do you want to go low? Let's go to the next page. Okay, here we are for your problem. You'll read the story problem, and you're going to estimate. I would like you to make a high estimate and a low estimate. Make sure to look at the front side if you get confused, and you can always bring this back tomorrow, and I can help you in class. See you tomorrow.